when she got pregnant, I didn't really even really care. But then I had to sit down and think about it and think about what I had to do with my life.
I was really scared at the time.
I don't regret nothing. I mean, once the baby's there, you know, you're just gonna love that. It's gonna become part of you.
It's hard to really sum up your feelings for your child in just a few words. I started growing my girlfriend about 1.5 years ago. And before we started going together, I knew that she had a child. He was 1 year old. He was 1 year old at the time, but the child father isn't there much. He isn't there at all, as a matter of fact. And I've kind of taken the role of his father. I've been taking care of him ever since I met him. I provide for him, and I consider myself his father, and she does too.
Hey, my name is Nicholas. I'm 16 years old. I'm an expectant father. My girlfriend is 6 months pregnant, and it really didn't come to a surprise to me that my girlfriend was pregnant because I knew what I was doing, so by having sex. But I can't really say much else because I'm not a father yet, but I plan to take care of my child and be there for him. That's all.
My name is Rick. I'm 17 years old. I'm an expectant father. My girlfriend is 7 months pregnant. I plan to support her by getting a job and being with her. Right now, she's staying with me.
I have 2 kids, and one of them was kind of a surprise, but the other one I knew. And at first I didn't want him, but you know, now that I've been taking care of him and stuff, now I want him, and I'm just glad that I didn't get the abortion or give him away.
And I found out she was pregnant when she was 5 months. You know, she's 5 months, almost going on 6. You can't really do nothing. So now, you know, I supported her. My parents were supportive. Her parents were supportive. I'm 19 years old, and I finished high school. She's 23 years old, and she finished high school also, and she got a job. I got a job. Everything going okay, and my daughter's 2 years and a half, and we love her, and I love her, and I never regret it.
My name is Jonathan, and I'm a non-dad, and I think teen pregnancy is not bad in situations, but if a dad get a teenage girl pregnant, I think he should be responsible and produce. If that ever happened to me, I'll probably be the best dad in the whole world.
I don't know of one teenager in the world that can actually go to their parents or anything and talk to them about the real intimate parts of their relationship or real intimately about the mechanics of the relationship, like sex or just regular problems that you have within your relationship. I don't know of any teenagers that can actually walk up to their parents and go through that conversation.
Feel comfortable.
Right, and feel comfortable.
Because some of their parents been through the same thing, and they don't really want to stress the fact that they've been in the same situation that their children going through now.
It's like it's like parents take it as a given. The kids know this stuff.
Talking about sex has never been easy. Cultural and social boundaries, peer pressure, and just plain curiosity often get in the way of reality. But the reality is this: 1 million teen girls become pregnant in this country each year. Now, we know the problems, the difficulties, and the situations they face. It isn't easy. But what about the teen boys and young men whose girlfriends become pregnant in the first place? This program is about them, their feelings, their situations, the ones who leave once they find out their girlfriend is pregnant, the others who are willing to share the responsibility but just don't know how, and those who have girlfriends or family who don't want them involved. This is about every young man out there who thinks that it can't happen to him.
I think the first time I had sex was when I was like 12 years old, because I looked a lot older than I was, and it was with an older girl. So it was like, I don't know, I can't really comment on what's the proper age.
It don't matter how old you are about having sex, but about being a parent, you know, you should really think about that, you know. There's an age limit. You gotta be responsible.
Yeah, it's more about responsibility.
Yeah, you're not about yourself no more.
Think about the consequences after you have sex.
Yeah.
Many kids today see sexuality as a part of their relationship much earlier than I would ever thought of. It really baffled me the first time a young man who was 10 came to me and told me he was having sex, and I was thinking, why, for what reason? And a lot of times it's because their friends are, and sometimes their friends are not telling the truth, but because of the peer pressure, the whole ideal of trying to be in and being part of the group, it's just so different. And even now when I look at how the image of sex is portrayed through videos and the media, sometimes you wonder that it really does have an impact. And I think that for these kids today, it's just part of the norm, that if you're dating, you have sex, and it's just part of the things you do. Well, before it was if you hold hands when you were my age or you kiss, that was a big thing.
I use
Like
condoms.
condoms?
That was my birth control most of the time.
As far as birth control go, I think birth control is like a two-way street, because it's like nowadays what a lot of people trying to do is like say, well, it's her responsibility to make sure she have a condom in her purse or that she's on a pill or something. But you gotta think, if you don't want to bring that kid into the world, if you're not ready for it, or or it's just not, or you just scared of getting something, because I know a lot of people out there got to be scared of getting something.
I mean, well, I'm trying to say, I ain't trying to say it's the girl's fault, but it should be more of the girl's responsibility to wear a condom, because it's her body. She's gonna carry the baby. I mean, guys, there's a lot of guys, that really don't care out there in the world, and they don't care if they get a disease, they don't care if they get the girl pregnant, they don't care about nothing, but the girl should carry, because that's her body, and that's like, she should cherish that, Whatever she's gonna carry is gonna be hers, and if she wants it or not, it's her responsibility.
In different situations, some girls don't like to use condoms, or they ask you not to, or they want to have a baby by you. They think that'll make you don't leave them,
Yeah,
stay with them forever or something. But that's wrong, because a lot of guys get a girl pregnant, they just don't care.
A lot of these teen dads don't think that they could get somebody pregnant. They give multiple reasons for not using male contraception, the only thing available being condoms. They're cumbersome. They for whatever reason, they may not feel comfortable with them. And a lot of times, as strange as it may sound, in the 1990s, they're not aware of any means of contraception. A lot of them are afraid or ashamed to go to the store and purchase them. Perhaps some of them don't have the money to purchase them with. They're afraid to discuss this with anyone because they really are afraid to discuss it with their parents. And they're definitely not, a lot of times, not going to discuss it with their friends.
Let's say up until now you've been lucky. You haven't used birth control, no one's gotten pregnant, and you haven't gotten any sexually transmitted diseases. But what happens when your luck runs out? What do you think you do?
I was really scared at the time, and this is my second time being a father, and I didn't have a job or nothing, and I had to get out there and get a job.
I think that what most guys think, like when they become fathers and everything, like the big misconception, like once they become a father, their life stops or whatever. Like they just gonna be stuck there with that baby. They gotta drop out of school and get a job and everything. It's like, I don't think that's true, because like I know people can continue going on. They can go to school and go to college and everything and still take care of their kids.
That's right. I could say I'm an example because I got my girlfriend pregnant when I was a freshman, and I was going on to being a sophomore, and all through those 3 years, I made it. I could successfully say I made it, and I got a job, and I don't regret nothing. I mean, once the baby's there, you're just gonna love that. It's gonna become part of you, and whatever happens to you, it hurts you or can make you happy.
I mean, being someone who was married and always wanted to have kids, and the emotions you go through when you're told you want to have a child, is, of course you're excited, but at the same time it's kind of like, can I handle this? So I think many young men, lots of men go through the whole issue of, am I really ready to be a parent? So the emotional side is quite an upheaval. You just don't know what to do, how to accept it. Am I really ready for it? Do I have enough money? Is there enough savings? And what we always recommend is you talk to other men who have had kids, or talk to someone who's a significant person, such as a mentor or a friend or your best buddy.
You feel uncomfortable talking to your friends? Like, some of your friends might not have had kids.
I mean, they kind of like pressure me, stuff like that. They kind of say, make fun of me and stuff like that, And at first, I kind of felt embarrassed, because at first she didn't show, and then she started showing, and I started getting embarrassed. But then again, I said, I was thinking about having kids sooner or later, Now that they happen, I can't do nothing about it, besides just support it, and that's what I did.
Becoming a teen father really changed my life because before my girlfriend got pregnant, I was out there real bad, selling drugs, and when she got pregnant, I didn't really even really care. But then I had to sit down and think about it and think about what I had to do with my life. I wasn't in school. I'm still not in school, but I'm working now trying to get up a little money for when my child is born. But I do plan to go back to school. So it's really got me away from the street type thing.
Once, for me, it was real different because it was like, he said he get teased a little bit, but I think I got teased more than anybody because it's like the child wasn't mine, but I felt the love for that kid like it was mine. And that's how I feel now. That is my son. That's how I feel. And it's like, right now, it's like, now, just sitting here talking to you guys, I'm even worrying about what is he doing now. It's like having a child is like this constant worry.
More young men than you might imagine choose to take an active role in raising their child. But often, the ones who can least afford it plan on being the most involved. One survey found that nearly 91% of teen males said they'd provide financial support. 96% plan to maintain close contact with the mother and the child, but only 7% said they want to participate in childcare. Taking on the responsibilities of being a father, then, may only go so far as the next paycheck.
If you used to worry about other things like what's coming on TV, what cartoon is on, where me and my boys gonna kick it at school today. Now you worry about, is it enough milk? Do we need Pampers? Oh man, his birthday coming around the corner. What I'm gonna get him? Am I gonna have enough money to get him? Does it fit in the budget? You can't even go out to the movies no more. It's like you want to go out somewhere, you gotta budget your money. Just to go out to the movies. Usually you could just ask your mother or somebody for the money to go to the movies. Now it's like you gotta budget and plan for it. It's rough, and it sound like real hokey and cheesy, like saying that you got a budget and plan for it, but it's real.
I think it's been hard because I have no money right now or no job. At first, when the first kid started, when I found out I was gonna have a baby, I was doing anything to try to get money, sell drugs, do any kind of job. But I thought I would save up that money, but that money got spent.
But at first you won't really need money, What's more important is love, support, just be there, show that baby that you're his father and that you care about him, be a role model. Job, you could get it'll come in time, believe me, it'll come in. I never thought it would come, but there's a lot of opportunities out there. People see that, you're a good worker and, you got a brain and everything. They'll hire you and stuff like that. There's a lot of jobs opening, but at first you got to be like a role model, just be there, show love, and you get love back, When my daughter was going to be born, it was a Friday, around 7 o'clock in the morning, she started having her pains. And my mother told her, don't go, it's not time yet. But she was like, it was her first baby, and it was my first baby too. We were just like, no, let's go now. So we rushed over there. She ended up having the baby around 11. But during that time, it wasn't the girl that I met, she turned into something else. I mean, it was somebody else. It just wasn't her. She didn't even recognize me. I go in there trying to hold her hand, and she would like squeeze my thumb. I thought my hand was gonna blow.
I heard stories about how it looks when the baby comes out, and I kind of got scared, so I went and I watched the Cubs game instead. But I think the next time I have a baby, that I'll be in there. But I was too scared to be in there. I just couldn't do it.
I experienced births firsthand. I had to take my sister to the emergency room, and I think birth is amazing, and I appreciate women more. It's amazing. Birth is amazing. A lot of men are scared or they think they can handle it, but it's just amazing.
Even the toughest guy, the buildest guy, even though he's in the hospital, he's the weakest because his girlfriend is in control of everything right now, She's the one. you think girls are weak, you know, because they can't punch as hard as you and stuff like that. But I mean, just like my girlfriend said, try sticking a basketball, you know, or you know where, but
Strong in the heart
yeah,
and in the cat.
It's like,
girls are tough.
I don't know. I never actually been there to see a birth like in real action, but I saw a videotape of an actual birth, and it was like I had to leave out the room just watching the videotape. So it's like I know if my girlfriend got pregnant again and I was there in the room, I couldn't do it. You know what I mean? I had to leave. I wouldn't be able to do it.
It's tough. I mean, but that's where the mother. That's where you see how much you love her for bringing that baby into your life, you know. And I mean, just seeing her laying in the hospital, having you know, something that's part of you, you know, it's good, and that's where you need to be there for her when she gets out and stuff.
I've never seen the childbirth before, but when my girlfriend has her baby, I plan to be there to see this.
Have football game.
This amazing thing.
Well, I've learned a lot. I've learned not to just think about myself, you know. If I want to buy something, or I really want those gym shoes, you know, I can't just get it with the first paycheck, you know. I gotta save for other things, and I mean, not just me, you know, my girlfriend and my baby, you know. So I really learned a lot from me. You know? I don't think about myself no more, and that's good, you know. Cause you don't live in the world by yourself.
I had worked with children before I met my girlfriend, so it was like I had like this preconceived notion of how to be like having a girlfriend with a kid. I feel like, hey, I done worked with kids before. This is gonna be easy. I go in there, play a few games, make them laugh a little bit, everything will be cool. But it's not like that. You know, it is so different.
At night they cry,
Oh man,
they
it's
cry, they get up, they want this, they don't feel well. Get the Tylenol, you gotta go. Even if you have to go to the store for something that they want, they keep crying for, you have to go get it, not because it's spoiled, but because they want it so much that it hurts you to see them cry, that they're really crying for that thing that they want. And you just go to the store no matter what time it is and you go get it, you know.
just by saying to yourself, to your girlfriend, and making that mental commitment with your child, saying, I'm gonna be there with you. Like no matter what, I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna help you through this, and we gonna help each other. Because sooner or later, when you get older, you're gonna need that child to help you through things that you're gonna have to go through.
Research has shown that the impact of the father being involved with the child is that the self-esteem levels are much higher, and academically they do much better in school because the kid feels that there is someone who is out there in charge and in control of their life and helping them to be a person that is contributing to society down the road. So much of the research has already proven that to have the father and mother involved in the lives of their child is very important.
I think the way you bring up your children is important because when they grow up, they're gonna see what you did for them and how you brought them up. And when you brought them up right, they will treat you right, they will treat you with respect, you know, they will show you kindness and everything. But if you treat them the wrong way, they won't listen to you, they'll do what they want to do and probably end up getting killed.
If you are a father now, then you can, and you have to spend the rest of your life being a role model. Children seek the praise of their adults and the people that they have a close relationship with. No matter what you do or say, they're going to watch your actions. If you don't truly spend time reading or valuing education, visiting the schools where your children attend, paying attention to the homework they bring home, then they are going to know that you don't value that. And if you don't value it, then they are not going to value it either, and they will then repeat some of the same lost opportunities that you may have already had happen to you.
My dad left before I was born, and I made a promise to my girlfriend and to myself that I wouldn't be like him and leave and not take care of his children.
It's not like that in my case. I really want to be like my father, be a role model, because he was there for me. My mother's the one that left. So my father took custody of me when I was like 3 years old, and I've been with him ever since. But he's in a nursing home now, so I'm staying with my sister, but he was there for me all my life, and I want to be like that to my child.
Anybody could be a father, but it takes a real man to be a daddy, you know? And like you said, I grew up without a father. Well, not really a father, he was there. I knew where he lived and everything, but why should I go look for him? He's the one that brought me into this world. I didn't bring him. He never came looking for me, so I never went looking for him. And now he wants to come around, not come around, but he like offered me a car and stuff when I graduated from high school. And it ain't really all about gifts, it's about love and care, and being there for your kids, If you can't give them that, then I mean, now he's all settled down and everything, but I got other plans and I gotta move on and I got kids of my own, kid. So now I'm being a role model, I don't need a role model no more. I'm gonna be one.
My father died when I was in first grade. So it was like I got a chance to know my father just that little bit. It was like that little bit made like a big impression on the way I'm trying to raise my child now. Because it's like, it don't seem like it could have been much to really influence me, but it was. Because like, I can remember a few things, and those few things that's enough to let me know that I have to show my child how to respect people. And like, not look down on anybody, because everybody's equal to you, no matter who they are. And it's like, father figure is important, but it's like the word father figure, not the father period, because since I didn't live with my father, or since I didn't have my father through most of my life, it was like I would look to other male figures in my community, or other male figures that I lived around or like were just exposed to. It was like I would listen to their stories and how they made it and how they helped their families and everything, and that would like influence me.
The job of prioritizing your goal as a father is extremely difficult if you're an adolescent, because the only goal you have in mind at that point in time is yourself. I mean, the role of an adolescent is to make sure they are happy and they live for the day and not for the future. So it's important, if you do become a father at an early age, to talk to an adult and to figure out what it is in my life I can do at this point that is somewhat caused me to slow down the progress, but not to say I should not continue to strive on. This makes it a lot more difficult, but I can still do it. And the prioritize has a bit more energy. As I have said, to be a parent requires a 24-hour job, and it's a 24-hour commitment, and most of that commitment is given to your thinking about when you're going to pick your child up. Do they have enough to eat? Have I brought enough clothes for them? If they're sick, how much is the medicine going to cost? Who's the doctor? Can I get to the doctor tonight? All the things that go into trying to make sure your kid is okay, and oftentimes there's not enough energy for you and or your girlfriend or your spouse that you may be with who you had the baby with. So I think to prioritize things get to be more difficult, but it's not the end all for anybody. I think it's just a little more difficult for anyone to reach their optimal goal at a pace that would be a lot quicker than they would if they didn't have a child.
You only get one chance in life for a free education. That's the one that's offered to you between age 5 and age 18 from public schools. If for some reason you have already dropped out of school, or you're in a position where you're thinking about it, you may be a parent, you've already lessened your opportunities and access from that free education. It's almost impossible to go back, or at least it's much more difficult. If you're a father now, or if you're supporting someone who might be a teenage parent, then don't let them make the same mistake. Use your example throughout the rest of your life as an example for your child or that next generation young person, so that they don't lose that opportunity.
The one thing I would say to young men who do have a baby and they want to continue their life, to not take into consideration all of the societal issues that come into play, and that you are this bad person and you're no good and you're just a sex hound, and that no one really thinks you can accomplish anything, because it's not true. Many people whom I have been friends with and are friends of mine now have been teenage fathers and have done extremely well. The thing that helped them get through it is that they had the commitment to continue their goals and be committed to their goals in life, and to seek out the support they could, whether it be the mother of the child, their own mother, their grandmother, their uncles, their aunts. There's a family support system there that can definitely help them to reach their goals, because they understand this person's commitment. But it's important for that young man to exhibit that he has a commitment to his child, because once people see that, they're going to help out. And I think it's on the part of the young man to be sure to exhibit to everyone that this is his child and he wants to take care of his child, but he also wants to take care of himself so that down the road he can help both of them to be all they can be.
I think it's real important for teenage fathers or teenage parents, period, to go look for some type of support, because the program I'm in, the program that I'm in, is called RAP, and it shows you that everybody needs some help. Everybody, no matter who you are, no matter how strong you are within yourself, you're gonna need some type of support from somewhere. And it's like, if you don't have any parents there and you don't have anyone in your community, then you have to go to these other programs to find people, because in the long run, it can't do anything but help you. And it's like, if you're just sitting out there by yourself all alone, you're in limbo. You have no idea of what's going on. You have no idea whether you're doing the right or the wrong thing. And it's like the programs help you meet other people, and they let you know that they're going through the same troubles too. Also, that you're not by yourself. You're not just suffering, and it's not like you're isolated in your own little world, suffering by yourself. That everybody else is going through the same thing.
Some young men feel good or feel like, well, now I'm a man or something to be proud of because, you know, they've created a child, or I got my own son and my own daughter. But we try to express to them that it's more than just saying you have to be able to do for that young daughter or young child, you know, and here again it gets back to being responsible.
Let's say your girlfriend gets pregnant. Your first thought may be that you should get married, but maybe that isn't the best solution.
I'm currently not with my baby mother right now, but I do plan to get back with her in the future. I'm just trying to take a little time out to prepare myself for the thing, having a child, and preparing myself for the relationship.
We've been real supportive of each other, because right now she in school, and like she has her plan laid out. She knows what she wants to do. And it's like she's in hair school learning how to do hair and everything, because she wants to own her own hair shop. And it's like I'm real supportive of that, because I know that she can do it as long as, you know, she sticks in there with it. And like she's real supportive of me, because it's like what I want to do is not easy. I have 3 goals I want to accomplish with my life. And it's like she's there with me every step of the way, supporting me. And every time I mess up, she's right there to let me know, you messed up, you got to get yourself back on track.
Man, in some situations, like when you first meet a girl, her parents could like you, right? Then after you get their daughter pregnant, they could dislike you, and they probably could change the whole relationship. I don't want you to be around my daughter. You ruin my daughter's life. She's only a baby. You got her pregnant. Don't come back around. They could ruin you.
Relationship with my lady. When I first met her, everything was fine and stuff until she got pregnant, and then her parents was like, I don't want you seeing them no more, and I don't want you around. She tried to get a restraining order against me at first.
It's not really like that with me, because my baby mother, her mother, she didn't really like me before she got pregnant, but when she got pregnant, she just started showing that she kind of cared, not really cared about me, but she just started trying to talk to me. And she just tried to show support and stuff. She's trying to get us back together, but like I said before, it is gonna take time.
But what if your girlfriend and her parents don't want you involved? Or maybe you think that the baby's her problem and not yours, and she decides to prove you're the baby's father. Now, in either case, your future responsibility towards her and the baby becomes a matter of the law.
The first thing that a teen father needs to do is establish paternity, because most of the laws in the states do not presume that a particular person is a father of a child born out of wedlock unless certain requirements are met. Normally, if the father marries the mother and he has acknowledged paternity on the birth certificate, that will establish paternity. There is a trend in many states to having the father acknowledge paternity when the child is born in the hospital, because it's usually a happy time and the young man is usually more willing to admit responsibility at that point. So there are a number of states that are changing their laws in order to make it easier for young men to take responsibility for fathering a child. If the birth mother is going to fight this in any way, then the young man can bring an action to declare paternity in the court, have a blood test, and then have the experts decide whether or not he in fact is the father. And if he's the father, then he can ask for visitation or custody, depending on what he's truly seeking, and there'll be a hearing to determine what's in the child's best interest. Normally, visitation would be set as well as child support, so it's sort of a two-edged sword. If you want visitation, you also have to pay for the privilege of raising the child.
Well, at first, I was telling the mother that, you know, nothing she could do can stop me from seeing her, that either way I'm going to see her. And even if I would have got locked up, I would have got out, and I would have still went to go see her. So really, she couldn't stop me.
Well, a big problem in a family saying that the father cannot be involved in the life of his child is just not accepted. It's not acceptable, and that legally no one can do that. That's why we stress to all the men or young men who have children out of wedlock that they establish paternity early on. In the state of Illinois right now, we have something called hospital-based paternity, where you can sign to say that you want to have paternity established immediately, and you'll be served a notice that will allow you to know when to come into court and have paternity established. So legally, it's just not the thing to do. Now, people can do it based on moral and value issues, but that's just not fair to the child and to the father who wants to be involved. And many times people will use the carrot that if you can't give any money, you can't see this kid, but we are not providing the best service to that child, but denying them access to a parent who down the line may be quite a significant part of that child's life. So what we always recommend is that to avoid the problem of not being able to see your kid, that legally you establish paternity.
Well, it's very important that couples sit down and talk about what is in the best interest of the child. While one or both of them may be represented by an attorney, it's important to agree on certain basic things in terms of the amount of support, who's going to cover the medical insurance for the child, when visitation will take place, and get that in writing so that everybody understands their duties and responsibilities. I found that if people are part of the process in making that determination, it's much easier to carry out the agreement. Frequently, mediation is being used in different courts around the country so that the couples have some ownership of what takes place. And if the people can be brought together with the understanding that they're trying to do the best for the child, frequently this can be a very amicable type of an arrangement. It need not be adversary. I would say that most couples want to take care of the child and make sure that the child is provided for. And so to start from a position of friendship is much more important to begin with, because you're going to be part of the child's life forever. Even if the teen mom and the teen father may not have any future relationship together, that child will always cause them to have a relationship. And the sooner that it's established as being friendly and maybe businesslike is very important.
Ask a vast majority of young people out there, and few of them would say they want to become teen parents. Their baby will be 5 years old by the time those teen parents are in their early 20s. And by the time the parents are in their early 30s, their baby will be a teenager. It's a responsibility that'll change their lives forever.
For me, as a father and myself of 2 kids, when I remember my first baby, I remember my dream of my first child was we would sit on the beach and she would be in white clothing and I would be in white shorts and white shirt, and she would just be gaga googling, and we would just look out to the ocean and things would be wonderful. But it's not like that. Your babies don't always give you the love and nurturing that you want that you give to them, and it's much harder than you ever would expect. I think being a parent is one of the hardest jobs out there, and to be a good parent really is a 24-hour job. You never get a break, and when you do get a break, it's 9 o'clock at night and you're sleepy and you can't even do anything but go to bed and wake up and start to cycle again. It's just much harder than people think. I think the job of parenting is one of the least respected but most demanding jobs out there, and I think that I recommend anyone who wants to do it to really reconsider if they're ready, or consider if it's not the right time, because it takes a lot of work, and it's a fun thing. I love my kids, but it's a very big commitment.
It don't matter how your daughter ends up. She could, I mean, my daughter could have been born in oxygen tanks and everything, but that's my daughter, and however she would have been born, I would have supported her and I would have loved her. No matter how she is, she's still my daughter.
With the kids I have now, I wouldn't trade them for anything in the world. I love them and I'd do anything for them.
I feel that I'll be a responsible dad once I have the baby. Right now, I'm trying to get more responsible for myself and to prepare for when I have the baby. So I'm not, I don't know. Go ahead, Itch.
I can't really say. I could say I'm working to try to be responsible for when my child gets here.
I don't think there's any words that can really explain how I feel about my child. I mean, I care for him more than anything in the world. I do just about anything for him. Matter of fact, I will do anything for him. It's hard to really sum up your feelings for your child in just a few words. It'll take more. I think you have to take a whole lifetime and multiply it by about 10. Then take the words from that lifetime and mix them all in. Then you'll probably get halfway close to how somebody can say about how they actually feel about their children.